dear students, once again welcome to Sri Satyasai Lokaseva Gurukulam video classes. So we are discussing the chapter playing with numbers. So this is the last part, third part of this chapter. So in the first part we have discussed the factors and multiples of a given number, then prime numbers and composite numbers. So under prime numbers we have discussed the co-prime numbers and twin prime numbers. So under composite numbers we have discussed the perfect numbers. So remember all those things. So in the second part we have discussed the divisibility tests. So without doing the actual division, how can you find out whether the given number is divisible by another given number? So those things we have discussed in the second part, and at the end of the second part we have also discussed the prime factorization, expressing the given number as the product of two or more prime numbers is called a prime factorization. That also we have discussed in the last part. So before going to the today's topic, let us see the answers for the homework assignment given in the last part. The questions given was: using divisibility test, determine which of the following numbers are divisible by 4 and 8. So three numbers were given. First number is 21,084. Second number is 3,19,75,072 and 21,504. So remember the divisibility test for 4. So if the number formed by the last two digits, that is unit place digit and tens place digit, is divisible by 4, then that entire number is also divisible by 4. Here the number formed by the last two digits is 84. So it is divisible by 4. So you can divide 4 2s are 8 and 4 1s are 4. That means 4 21s are 84. The number formed by the last two digits is divisible by 4. Therefore, this 21,084 is also divisible by 4. The second question, the number formed by the last two digits is 72. If you know the tables properly, so you can remember 18 4s are 72. That means 4 18s are 72. So we can divide 72 by 4. Therefore, this entire number is divisible by 4. So in the last number, the number formed by the last two digits is just 4. 04 is nothing but 4. So 4 is divisible by 4. Therefore, this entire number is also divisible by 4. The divisibility test for 8 is similar to the divisibility test of 4, but the only difference is here we have to take the number formed by the last three digits. First one is 84. So you know that 84 will not come under 8th table. 8 10s are 80. 8 11s are 88. 84 will not come. So therefore the first number will not divisible by 8. What is the second number? The number formed by the last three digits is 72. 8 9s are 72. It is divisible. So therefore that entire number is divisible by 8. In the last number, 504. So remember how we have to divide. We have to divide place by place. First take the first place is 5, which is less than 8. Therefore we have to put a 0 in the place of 5. Then that 5 goes to the next place and next place becomes 50. We are dividing with 8. So 8 6 are 48. 2 remains. It goes to the next place and next place becomes 24. And 8 3s are 24. So usually you write 63. 063 is nothing but 63. That means 8 63s are 504. So the number formed by the last three digits is divisible by 8. Therefore this entire number is also divisible by 8. The next question given was: write the smallest digit and the greatest digit in the blank space of each of the following numbers so that the number formed is divisible by 3. So these two numbers are divisible by 3. We have to fill up this blank with the smallest digit and the greatest digit, which makes these numbers divisible by 3. So you know the divisibility rule of 3. If the sum of the digits of the given number are divisible by 3, then that whole number is also divisible by 3. So therefore add the digits. 6 is 19. The number greater than 19 which comes in third table is 21. So to get the sum of digits 21, so we need 2 here. So therefore 2 is the smallest digit that can be placed here to make this number divisible by 3. So which is the greatest digit? The greatest digit that can be right here is 8. So for this first question, for this first number, the smallest digit is 2 and the greatest digit is 8, which can make this number divisible by 3. Same type second question. First add all the given digits. 4 becomes 24. The 24 itself is divisible by 3. Therefore, if we put a 0 here, then this entire number, so that means 4,76,502 is divisible by 3. So therefore, obviously the biggest digit is 9 here. If you put 3 here, then also this number is divisible by 3. If you put 6 here, then also that number is divisible by 3. Let us see a game here. So you can remember in the first part, we started with the distribution of 12 chocolates to 6 members, to 3 members, to 2 members. And when we go to distribute 12 chocolates to 5 members equally, we came to a conclusion that it is not possible to distribute 12 chocolates to 5 members because 5 is not a factor of 12. 12 is not a multiple of 5. 5 do not divide 12 completely. We came to those conclusions. Similarly, we have 24 mangoes in a basket. Not only the mangoes, along with mangoes, we have 36 apples. The question asked is, there are 24 mangoes and 36 apples here. If you distribute them to 3 students equally, then each one get 8 mangoes and 12 apples. There are 24 mangoes. If you distribute it to 3 students, 3 peoples, then 24 by 3, that is 8. Each one get 8 mangoes. If you distribute 36 apples to 3 students, so 3 12s are 36, therefore each one get 12 apples. For 3 students, we can distribute both mangoes and apples equally. So other than 3, we can distribute 8 to 6 peoples equally. Because 6 4s are 24, 6 6s are 36. The question asked here is, for how many maximum number of students we can distribute them so that each one get equal number of mangoes and equal number of apples. So we want to distribute it to the maximum numbers, to the maximum number of students, but everyone get equal number of mangoes and apples. Suppose I take 18 students. For 18 students, we can distribute the apples equally. Each one get 2 apples. But we cannot distribute 24 mangoes to 18 students equally because 18 is not a factor of 24. So what we have to do? So we have to take the common factors of 24 and 36. In that, we have to take the maximum number of students. So we have to check which is the maximum among the common factors of 24 and 36. So that is called highest common factor, HCF. It is also called GCD, greatest common divisor. By this statement, the highest common factor of two or more given numbers is the highest of their common factors. Very simple. First, you have to take the common factors, and among that, you have to choose the highest one. It is also known as greatest common divisor. In short form, you write GCD. So, in the previous example, so 24 and 36 are the given two numbers. Their common factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. So, all these numbers divide both 24 and 36 exactly. So, therefore, they are called common factors. So, among those numbers, 12 is the highest. Therefore, 12 is called the HCF of 24 and 36. There are many methods to find out the HCF of two numbers. Let us discuss one or two methods using the next example. Here, three tankers containing 850 liters, 680 liters and 510 liters of kerosene oil respectively. Find the maximum capacity of a container which can measure the kerosene oil of all the tankers when used an exact number of times. So, three tankers were there. So, one tanker contained 850 liters of kerosene, another tanker contains 680 liters and last tanker contains 510 liters of kerosene. We have to empty it. We have to transfer those kerosene to some other place using a container. So, the question asked is, what is the maximum capacity of that container which can be used to transfer all the kerosene? So, in exact number of measurements. So, exact number of measurement means if we take a 100-liter container and start to measure, after measuring the 8 measurements from the first container, 50 liters of kerosene will left there. After measuring 6 measurements from the second container, 80 liters will remain there. No kerosene should remain in the tanks. That means we have to take the factors of these numbers, and the container which we need is of the maximum capacity. So, therefore, what can we do here? So, we can take the HCF of 850, 680 and 510. So, let us see a method. So, take all the given numbers, start to divide all the given numbers with the small prime numbers. The smallest prime number is 2. So, here all the given numbers are even numbers, therefore, all are divisible by 2. Start divide. 2 425s are 850. The half of 680 is 340. That means 2 340s are 680. The half of 510 is 255. So, now look at here, all these numbers are not even numbers. So, therefore, they are not divisible by 2. So, you know that if a number has 0 or 5 in the unit place, those numbers are divisible by 5. Take 5 and divide all these numbers. Now, these numbers are neither divisible by 2 nor divisible by 5. They are not divisible by 3 also. So, all these numbers 85, 68 and 51. So, comes in 17th table. It is 17 5s, this is 17 4s, and the last one is 17 3s. So, all these numbers have a common factor 17. So, now these numbers 5, 4 and 3, they do not have any common factors. So, stop here this method. The product of these 2 into 5 into 17 is the HCF of these given numbers. Their product 2 into 5 into 17 means 170. 170 is the HCF of those numbers. That means if you use a container of 170 liters, we can transfer the kerosene of all the tankers exactly. So compare this example with the previous examples. Can we do it in the same manner? Here, a shopkeeper sells candles in packets of 12. So we can purchase 12 candles, that means one packet, or we can purchase two packets, 24, or we can purchase 36. Like that, here the candles can be purchased only as the multiples of 12, only in terms of packets. Similarly, the shopkeeper is selling the candle stands in packets. Each packet contains 8 stands. What is the least number of candles and candle stand one should buy so that there will be one candle for each candle stand? So think here, we can purchase one packet of candles, that means 12 candles. We can purchase two packets of candles, 24 candles. If we purchase 3 packets, so then we get 36 candles. So what are these? So these are the multiples. So we are not going to the factors here, we are going to the multiples. Similarly, think of the candle stands. If you purchase one packet, you get 8 stands. 2 packet means 16, 3 packet means 24 stands. I think you got the answer for this question. Look at here, if we purchase 2 packets of candles and 3 packets of candle stands, then each candle get a stand. Not only 24, you can purchase 48 candles, that means 4 packets of candles, and 48 stands, that means 6 packets of stands. Then also you get a stand for each candle. Similarly for 72. But the question asked is, what is the least number of candles and stands one can purchase so that each candle can have one stand? So for that, answer is not the 48, not the 72, it is 24. You already know that 12, 24, 36, 48, 72, all these are the multiples of 12. 8, 16, 24, then 32, then 40, 48, all these are the multiples of 8. 24, 48, 72, these are all the common multiples of 12 and 8. So among those common multiples, 24 is the least. So therefore this 24 is called the LCM, least common multiple of 12 and 8. So understand the definition. The lowest common multiple, that means LCM of 2 or more given numbers, is the lowest, or you can call smallest or least, of their common multiples. For the last example, the common multiples of 8 and 12 are 24, 48, 78, 72 and so on. So among those, 24 is the smallest, therefore the LCM of 8 and 12 is 24. Here also, to find out the LCM of given numbers, there are so many methods. Let us discuss one method, taking one more example. So take this question. Vinod goes to Mudenhalli for every 90 days for one day. Anand goes for every 144 days also for one day. Today both are in Mudenhalli. After how many days both will be again in Mudenhalli? I think you understood the question. If Vinod is in Mudenhalli today, then after 90 days again he will be in Mudenhalli. After 180 days again he will be in Mudenhalli. After 270 days again he will be in Mudenhalli. So we take the multiples of 90 here. Then about Anand. So Anand goes to Mudenhalli for every 144 days. So that means if Anand is in Mudenhalli today, then after 144 days he will be again in Mudenhalli. After 288 days again he will be in Mudenhalli. So like this, if we take the multiples of 144, on those days he will be in Mudenhalli. If we take the multiples of 90, on those days Vinod will be in Mudenhalli. So what we have to find out here, the question is, today both are in Mudenhalli, assuming that. So after how many days both will be again in Mudenhalli? So that means we have to take a number which will be the common multiple of both these 90 and 144. For this we need to find out the LCM of 90 and 144. So similar to the method of finding the HCF, here also take 90 and 144. Start to divide the given numbers using small prime numbers. Both are even numbers, we can divide it by 2. So 245 is a 90 and 272 is a 144. Then one is odd number here, another one is even number. Therefore we can't divide both the numbers by 2. So check the sum of their digits. 4 plus 5 is 9, divisible by 3. 7 plus 2 is 9, divisible by 3. So take 3 and divide both the numbers. So we get 3 15s are 45 and 3 24s are 72. Yes. Now again this 15 and 24 are divisible by 3. So you know 3 5s are 15 and 3 8s are 24. 5 and 8 are co-prime numbers. If you take the product of these three numbers, 2 into 3 into 3, that will give you the HCF of 90 and 144. Here we need the LCM, therefore multiply all these prime numbers along with 5 and 8. So that means the product of 2 into 3 into 3 into 5 into 8 is the LCM of 90 and 144. If we multiply, we get 720. So this means if both Vinod and Anand are here in Mudenhalli today, then after 720 days, both will be again at Mudenhalli. Hope you understood it. Let us take one more example. Find the least number which when divided by 12, 16, 24 and 36 leaves a remainder 7 in each case. So read the question carefully and try to understand. So we have to take a number and when it is divided by 12, we have to get 7 as remainder. So instead of 12, if I divide that same number with 16, then also we should get 7 as the remainder. Similarly, if I divide that number with 24 or by 36, so all these cases we have to get 7 as the remainder. So what may be that number? So first let us choose a number which is the LCM of 12, 16, 24 and 36. When we divide that number by 12, we get remainder 0. When we divide the LCM of those numbers by 16, we get remainder 0. Similarly with 24 and 36. So to get the answer for this question, if we add 7 to the LCM of those numbers, we get the answer. Our required answer is one which is 7 more than the LCM of 12, 16, 24 and 36. So let us find out the LCM for these numbers. Take 12, 16, 24 and 36. So all are even numbers, we can divide all the numbers by 2. So 2 6s are 2 8s are 2 12s are 2 18s are 36. Then once again all are even numbers, divide those numbers by 2. Again, so here this 3 and 9, they are divisible by 3, not by 2. If we take 3 here, we can divide 3, 6 and 9. Or, so we can take 2 here because from 2 we can divide the middle two numbers. So I will take 2, we cannot divide 3 by 2. So write 3 as it is. Similarly, write 9 as it is. So divide 4 and 6. 2 2s are 4 and 2 3s are 6. Now divide these numbers with 3. So first number is divisible. 2 we can't divide, write as it is. So then 3 1s are 3 and 3 3s are 9. Other numbers. So now take the product of these numbers, that will be the LCM for 12, 16, 24 and 36. So their product is 144. So 144 is the first number which is completely divided by 12, 16, 24 and 36. If I add 7 to that 144, that number gives 7 as remainder when that number is divided by 12, 16, 24 and 36. So therefore, our required answer is LCM plus 7, that is 144 plus 7, 151. So these are the things in the third chapter, playing with numbers, of your textbook. So these are the questions for your assignment. You can pause the video and take down those questions and write. God bless you. Thank you. Sai Ram.